Railroad crossing. A man was plagued by silent phone calls that came in every night. At the suggestion of a friend, he called the number back and heard the announcement, "The number is not in use at this time." Listening carefully, he is horrified by a certain sound coming from the other end of the line. When I was a college student, I was plagued by silent phone calls every day. Usually around 2300 hours at night. Even though I blocked the calls, they would come from various numbers. It started during summer vacation. I was walking home alone after drinking with friends. There is a train station right next to my apartment and there is a railroad crossing where there used to be an accident. When the Bon Festival comes around, there are flowers and sweets left there. I was quite drunk and staggering around, so I stumbled and stepped on the flowers and other things. I went home and went to bed thinking, "Oh no, I've done it." The next day, I bought flowers and sweets again, made an offering, put my hands together, and apologized for yesterday. I apologized for yesterday. That night, X Japan's Kurenai played on my ringtone. Another invitation for a drink. I looked at my cell phone and saw an unknown number. Did someone change his cell phone? I picked up the phone and heard nothing. I thought I heard a faint sound, but it didn't sound like anyone was talking. I thought it might have been a wrong number and paid no attention to it. The next day, I received another call from the same number. Again, no answer. The next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I was getting frustrated enough, so I said to stop calling me on silent phone, asshole. And hung up. Then I blocked the call. The next day, I received another call from an unknown number. It was a silent call, but I could hear the station announcement from the other end of the line. I could faintly hear something like, "The train will be arriving shortly." I thought it was just another prank, so I hung up the phone. The next day, I was having a drink with a friend at my place. It was the same number as yesterday. One of my friends said, "Let's call the number back," so I tried calling it back, but it said the number you have dialed is currently out of service. I tried to call you earlier, didn't I? I thought, I started to suspect that it was not someone's prank or something around here, but something spiritual. The next day, without rejecting the call, I received a call from the same number. I got scared and rejected the call for the second time. From then on, I was so scared that I was staying at a friend's house where I lived alone. But I still received another call from a different number. I heard an announcement like, "Yellow, duh, oh, shimasu." Then it occurred to me that I had kicked the flowers off the railroad crossing. Maybe I'm haunted by the spirit that got angry at that. But I didn't know anyone who was born in a temple, and being a chicken, I didn't have the courage to go to the temple and tell them that I was cursed. Anyway, I had no choice but to reject the calls and let them pass. Whether it was a ghost or a prank, there is a limit to the number. I rejected the call for the third time. The next day, as I expected, I received a call from the fourth number. I heard an announcement, "Please be careful, trains are coming through, please be careful." I reject the call that day. The next day, I receive another call from a different number. I hear the sound of a railroad crossing. I reject the call. The next day, I received another call from a different number. With a thunk, I hear a sound like a train approaching, like a go. Here, I noticed that every time I rejected the call and the number changed, the scene at the destination progressed. At first, it was just a station announcement. It started with "The train will be here shortly. Please step back to the yellow line," indicating that a train was approaching. Then the sound of a railroad crossing. Then the sound of an approaching train. I instantly became afraid to answer the phone because I could imagine what would happen next. But I didn't want to deal with them so far and not answer or reject the call because I felt like I was losing. I rejected the call, and the next day, I received a call from a different number. The next day, a call came in from a different number. When I answered, I could hear the sound of a gurgling noise getting closer and closer. I heard it for about 2 seconds. Dawn. I thought I heard a big sound, and then I heard a crack, crack, crack. Oh, it must be an accident from the past happening over the phone. I was sure of it. With this call, the other party was dead. In other words, I wouldn't be getting any more calls. I put my cell phone to my ear and felt relieved. I sighed, and that's when I heard a voice saying,
"You're next."
The something on the other end of the line spoke for the first time. To be honest, I almost choked. From that point on, the silent call stopped. I rarely use train stations, and there are routes to everywhere I go that do not involve railroad crossings. I lived my life as far away from railroad crossings and trains as possible, but one day, a year later, I was drunk again and was walking the streets at night with a girl I had successfully taken home. Looking back, I think we should have gone to a love hotel, but she tried to take me in under the guise of lending me some CDs she had at home, so the destination was my place. Because I wanted to get laid as soon as possible, I chose the shortest route, the railroad crossing route. As soon as the railroad crossing came into view, my body relaxed. There was no strength in any part of my body. Not even in my legs. I could not stand still, but my body was moving toward the crossing. I was moving on my own. The train will be arriving soon. I can hear the announcement from the station up here. Please step back to inside the yellow line. The train will be here shortly. A railroad crossing sounds. The bar goes down. My body steps toward the crossing. No, I will get run over and die. I want to stop, I don't want to walk, but my body won't stop. In no time at all, you reach the railroad crossing and are about to go through the bar. Wait. The girl I took home grabbed my arm and slapped my cheek as hard as she could. I regained my freedom and backed away in a hurry. At that moment, a freight train went by with a gurgling sound. I was in the tavern, and there was something behind you, she said. It looked pretty bad, so I followed it here. I can't see it anymore, so I'm leaving. Be careful. I think it's safer to move out. Bye. The next month, I moved out, and nothing happened to me at the railroad crossing or station after that. I never saw the girl again. I asked the members of the party and other girls, but no one knew her. She said, "I was scared because you were talking to the wall by yourself at that time. I thought you were on drugs or possessed." Thank you for helping me, even though it made me a little sad. This is the end of this story. Thank you for listening to the end.